Next up we have the pre-93 and 03 touring cars. Results of race 1 sets the grid. In pole position will be number 34, David Griffin. Alongside him should have been Gary Preble. Unfortunately, Gary with engine problems from race 1. He did get to the flag in second place, but he's a non-starter for this one, sadly. Second row, number 90, Ian Bowers, BMW, and Ross Craig, the first of the pre-03 cars in his Honda. Third row, 128, Andy Neal with his Peugeot 106, and number 7, Arthur Forster's BMW E30. On the fourth row, 117, Adam Reed with the BMW Compact, and number 131, Phil Wright's Honda. Fifth row, 56, Andy Sheraton's BMW, John Hillier with the BMW E36 Touring. Sixth row, 52, David Nixon's Rover Tomcat, and James Everard, who is back out after failing to finish race 1. Good to see the E30 M3 will be out there. Sam Goodwin, I think, will be a non-starter, though the Vauxhall Astra having problems in qualifying. This will be a 20-minute race. And it's done it again. The sun comes back out. I bet you within 5 or 10 minutes of this race, it'll be raining again. As we said, our next live action here on BARC TV, it's the heavyweights at Snetterton, September the 18th and 19th, the British Truck Racing Championship. They had a great meeting at Donington recently with a few unexpected results. A bit of news reaching us from the British Truck Racing Championship as well. Reigning Division 2 champion from 2020, Stephen Powell, has announced he's stepping up to Division 1 for next season. Bit of breaking news there from the British Truck Racing Championship. There'll be an action from Snetterton, September the 18th and 19th. Pre-93 and 03 touring cars, sponsored by Laser Tools. Well, thanks to Andy Sheraton for getting Laser Tools involved, his BMW in their colours. And by Simply Serviced of Colchester, the pre-03 touring cars. Last few cars coming round to the grid. There's James Everard. Watch for him from the back. We believe he's next Alfa Romeo racer in the BMW. Cars coming up to the grid then for our second race of the day for the Laser Tools Pre-93 and Simply Service Pre-2003 Touring Car Championships, a 20-minute race. David Griffin, our earlier winner, in pole position with the Diet Coke BMW. Gary Preble was the winner in Pre-2003 earlier. Unfortunately, engine problems preventing him from starting this second race. There's a gap on the front row. Second row, Ian Bowers, BMW number 90. Alongside him, 169, Ross Craig with his Honda Civic, the first of the pre-03 cars. Andrew Neal and Arthur Forster, Peugeot and BMW on row 3. On the fourth row, we have Adam Reed and Phil Wright. We are underway then, down towards the first corner. Super starts by Ian Bauer, but it's David Griffin who has the lead. Look at Andrew Neal, that Peugeot. We said that was a little rocket ship, that 106. I think he's gone into second place as they head up into Coppice. He has. Superb start there by Andrew Neal's Peugeot 106. I'd love to know what engine he's got in that. He's into second. He's the first of the pre-03 cars. Ross Craig goes down to fourth overall. Already making up places from the back. Here's the E30 of James Everard. Not such a good start for Arthur Forster's E30. The ex-BTCC man is towards the back, but it's David Griffin in the Diet Coke BMW who has got the lead. Andrew Neal up there in second. Third is Ian Bauer. Now, if it rains again midway through this race, watch for Andrew Neal in the Peugeot. There is Andy Sheraton, the Laser Tools BMW, chased by David Nixon in his Rover Tomcat as the lead group heads down the gooseneck. Look at the Peugeot lifting a wheel there as it comes over the top down into the Big Dipper. Ian Bauer is next. Then we've got the 169 of Ross Craig. Phil Wright is next in his Honda Civic, the earlier shape version, ahead of the BMW Compact of Adam Reed, making his debut with the CT CRC this weekend in the invitation class. David Griffin leads it. Swing their way over the mountain. Just 11 cars out there for this one, and Adam Reed jumps the mountain section there in his BMW. Superb stuff. Ian Bauer's BMW, an ex-Pre-93 champion, as is David Griffin. Ross Craig in there in fourth place, challenging with the Honda. Then Phil Wright in the VTEC Direct Honda, I think that is. There's James Everard, the ex-Roger Stanford BMW E30. Andrew Neal up there in second place, but he's over 2 seconds down on David Griffin. Let's see if the Peugeot can try and chase down the BMW. Can he hold off Ian Bauer in his Castrol liveried car? There's the other Castrol car, the Honda of Phil Wright. Then it's Adam Reed. Andy Sheraton in 7th behind them. Up the hill they go. Ian Bauer trying to get into a position to attack Andrew Neil for 2nd place. He was competing here yesterday in another event at Cadwell with that car, so that got him a bit of extra testing. But Ian Bauer up the inside into the right-hander at Park Corner. He's through. Power of the BMW telling, and up into 2nd place he goes, ahead of Andrew Neil, who still leads the pre-03 split on his debut with the Classic Touring Car Racing Club. He's in Class D, same class as Ross Craig. Down the hill they come. 4th is Ross Craig in the black and white Dazzle, another Dazzle liveried car, the Honda. Then it's another Honda of Phil Wright, a BMW of Adam Reed. Behind them Sheraton, Nixon, Everard, Forster and Hillier rounding out the field. Arthur Forster made a poor start there, dropped down 5 places. Ian Bauer throwing his car through the mountain section there, really corkscrewing it around. Andrew Neil's dropped back a bit in his slightly less powerful Peugeot. 4th place we've got Ross Craig. He wants the pre-03 lead as again Ian Bauer sideways. A career as a drifter. Great stuff. Phil Wright's running well, but Ian Bauer is starting to hunt down David Griffin. We'll see what his lap time is this time through. As I expected, fastest lap of the race by Ian Bauer, so the exuberant style is paying off for him here. He's catching David Griffin. 140.061 his lap that time through. Ross Craig is now on the tail of Andy Neil. This is for the lead in the simply serviced pre-03 category between Neil in the Peugeot and Ross Craig in the Honda. Here they come then up Park Straights. Is the Honda going to get the inside line away? This is where Ian Bauer took 2nd place last time through. See the advantage he's got now as Craig up the inside. He's going to get through exactly the same as Ian Bauer did to Andy Neil. He's done by that Dazzle liveried 169 of Ross Craig. What an incredible paint job that is. Perhaps it's to confuse the opposition. Certainly confused Andrew Neil. How did he get through there, he's probably thinking. Well, Ross Craig now leads in pre-03. It's been Gary Preble doing the overall winning this season, but I think he's won every race overall in his battles with AJ Owen, but he's not out in this one. Just allowing Ross Craig to close up on Gary Preble. They are in the same class, those two, as the Honda flies the mountain. There's Arthur Forster, the man from the northeast of England, on the tail of David Nixon in the Rover. Used to be a one-make series for those Rovers, the Tomcat Turbos, and for the 216s as well. Our safety car driver today, Colin Stubbs, used to race a Rover 216. Through Hall Bends they go. There's the battle in pre-03, and Ross Craig has pulled away from Andrew Neil's Peugeot now. He had some problems in qualifying here at the event yesterday, so I hope it's not going to return. 2 BMWs away in front, and another fastest lap of the race by Bauer, a 139.025. He's lapping about 0.4 of a second quicker than David Griffin. So is he going to catch him and take the win, or is it going to be Diet Cokes all round again for David Griffin? There's the Honda leading the pre-03s, Ross Craig. Seen his father Ian out in his BMW in Classic Thunder today. Camera angles really showing what a roller coaster this circuit is. As David Nixon is chased by Arthur Forster. This is for 8th place overall. They're in pre-93 Class C, same class as James Everard, who's got ahead of them in his M3, and he leads the class. And between them is the invitation class runner Adam Reed from pre-03 in his BMW compact Skegness driver on his local circuit today. We're not all that far from the beach at Skegness here. Skegness is of course a famous motorsport venue in the stock car racing world. The Skegness Raceway, run by former multiple world stock car champion Rob Speak these days. I wonder if he's ever had a go round Cadwell Park, wouldn't surprise me. There is James Everard in the ex-Roger Stanford Fina BMW. The old Bugatti team colours. Made so famous in touring cars in the 80s and early 90s. There's Adam Reed, the BMW Compact. There is a one-make series for those cars as well. This is the fight for 5th position. Everard's got ahead of Phil Wright now. The Cadwell Honda. Reed in 7th. Another fastest lap of the race by Ian Bower. 1:39.025 is his quickest lap. No, his last lap was a 1:39.6, sorry. And Griffin responded with a personal best of 1:39.191. So David Griffin is responding to the attack from Ian Bower at the front of the field, the 2 BMWs. There is James Everard. A beautiful BMW. Some call the E30 M3 the ultimate touring car. Certainly the most successful touring car of all time. The likes of Roberto Ravaglia, Johnny Cecotto. So many names I could mention that have found success in E30 M3s. Over the top goes David Griffin. The Diet Coke Mobile. Paul Morris, Jeff Brabham and Craig Baird, successful names in those in Australia. There's Arthur Forster with his M3. Chased by David Nixon. They're separated by about 1.8 seconds. Still plenty of time to go, plenty of laps to go. David Griffin continues to lead. He's just done a new fastest lap, 1:38.451. So he responded to Ian Bower's attack. They're separated by just under 4 seconds. Craig is about 8.5 seconds further back, but he still leads the pre-03 split. John Hillier's got the BMW estate ahead of Andy Sheraton. Sheraton, the locally based driver, based in a village near Market Raisin. His family have got quite a collection of classic cars. Spoke to Andy and his son Michael prior to the season at their HQ. He's fallen to the back of the field here behind John Hillier in the BMW E36 estate. I'm trying to think if there are any other estate cars racing in the UK. The only one I can think of is the Burnett family's Mini Countryman that appears in classic mini events. Wouldn't surprise me if there are some replicas of the Volvo 850 estates made so famous in British touring cars racing somewhere as well. And of course we saw the Honda Civic Tourer race for one season by Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden in BTCC more recently. But that may well be the only estate currently racing in the UK apart from the Burnett family's Mini Countryman. And of course there were a couple of Space Frame Mini Countryman estates at the fastest Mini in the world event recently at Brands Hatch too. They were special models built to space frames. There's David Nixon with the Tomcat. Chase down Arthur Forster here, number 7. This is the battle for 8th place. Here's the fight for the lead in pre-03 between Craig and Neil. This is for 3rd overall. That's Craig and Andrew Neil. They're separated by 3 seconds now. The Peugeot was off the line like a scalded cat into 2nd place, but now down to 4th. David Griffin still leads. Increased his lead to 4 seconds again now. Increased his advantage by a few more hundredths of a second that time through. 9 minutes of this race still to go, so we're just past half distance in the Laser Tools pre-93 and Simply Serviced pre-2003 touring cars. Bit of a slide there for John Hillier in the BMW estate. Does the long roof help with the aerodynamics, I wonder? There's our leader. We've not seen him for a while. Man from Stamford in Lincolnshire, originally from Australia, David Griffin. Swings his way through Hall Bends. Car prepared by West Suffolk Racing. You can see Ian Bower is still well and truly on it, sliding the BMW around. We've gone a bit wide there into the hairpin. I thought he was going to go straight on onto the grass there. Taking a few risks here to try and catch Ian Bower. The gap was 4.036. Let's see what it is as they come across the line to complete lap 7. Gap is now 3.9 seconds, so he's increased his lead very slightly there. He's decreased his lead very slightly there, I should say, Ian Bauer. David Griffin continues to lead. It'd be amusing if Ian Bauer managed to paint his car in Pepsi colours, wouldn't it? Then we'd have Cola Wars on track. I don't think we've ever seen a Pepsi liveried touring car. The only place I can think of we might have seen Pepsi sponsorship is in NASCAR, but I'm sure someone will correct me on that. There's Adam Reed, the BMW Compact, chasing Phil Wright, so it's Reed and Wright battling for 6th place. Mentioning estate cars, so we've mentioned the 850 estates. Somebody on YouTube mentioning there was a Maestro estate, another championship. I think you mean Montego estate. Yes, there was a Montego estate in the MG Owners Club series a few years ago. I think it was Andy Campbell who ran it. I believe he's still got that car. We haven't seen it race for a few years. Most of the more modern MGFs and ZRs we see with the MG Owners Club series now, plus the classics, the MGBs and midgets. We do see a couple of Maestros race with them. Look at the slide there from Ian Bauer as he comes through the hairpin. What's the gap going to be this time? It was down to 3.9 seconds. Has he decreased the gap any further? Yes, he has. 3.338 seconds. So Ian Bauer is closing in very slightly on David Griffin. But with 6.5 minutes of the race to go, I don't think he's quite going to catch him. He'll get the gap down a little. I don't think he'll catch David Griffin. It'll be Advance Australia fair once again for the Aussie. See him ahead there on Park Straight. Come up into Park Corner. Sunstay. No, I won't mention that. We'll put the curse of the commentator on it. Well, there's the little Peugeot of Andrew Neil. Great to have him with the CTCRC today. Debut with the club. He's 4th overall, 2nd in Pre-03. Let's have a look at the class leaders. Pre-93B is led by Griffin. Pre-03D by Ross Craig. Pre-93C by James Everard, who's up to 5th. Pre-03 Invitation by Adam Reed. Pre-03C by John Hillier. And Pre-93 Class D by Andy Sheraton. There is the BMW Compact by Adam Reed, number 117. Plenty of drivers travelled here to Cadwell. The BMW Compact Cup was here over the weekend, but Adam Reed, a local man from Skegness, staying on to race again today. Really a good account of himself here. In 7th overall, he's about 3 seconds back on Phil Wright. Well clear of Arthur Forster's M3 as well. Just under 5 minutes to go. The lead gap is 3.5 seconds between Griffin and Bauer. That seems to have stabilised itself now. The Forster has lost out there to David Nixon, so maybe he's struggling with the M3 there. Nixon's got ahead. That's for 9th place, I think. No, 8th place, sorry. Meanwhile, James Everard in his M3 has caught Andrew Neil. James Everard, of course, started from the back of the grid because he failed to finish race 1. James Everard could make a move here for 4th place. Meantime, there's our leader. Now, he's got his headlights on. He's probably going to be catching back markers fairly soon. Yes, there's the back markers, Andy Sheraton and John Hillier. And Sheraton's got back ahead of the estate car there. Ian Bauer still chasing. Bauer perhaps would have been hoping slightly that Griffin had a hard time getting past the back markers, but he hasn't reached the mountain. I was asked earlier in the comments why David Griffin's BMW has a novice cross on the back of it. At another event recently, he did have a co-driver with him in a 40-minute pit stop race, and his co-driver was a novice, so that's why that's on there. Ian Bauer slides his way around the hairpin again. Coming up to lap Andy Sheraton. Decide to let him through coming out of the barn corner. Yes, Ian Bauer struggled to get past the back markers there, and he's dropped back he's over 6 seconds down now, so he's lost 3 seconds there getting past the back markers. That could have just sealed it for David Griffin, because there's only 3 minutes of the race to go, and I don't think even Ian Bauer with his sideways style can make up 6 seconds in that time. Andy Sheraton puts a wheel on the grass there coming out of Charlie's. Seen a couple of cars spin doing that. Arthur Forster back up onto the tail of David Nixon, they're fighting for 8th place. It's looking good for David Griffin. Still got the fastest lap of the race as well, 1:38.451. And James Everard has got his BMW past Andrew Neil now, so he's 3rd in pre-93. Now, how far behind Ross Craig is he? 3.5 seconds. Just saw a flash of Craig's car go through there. So James Everard, his lap times are about the same as Ross Craig, so he may not get onto the overall podium here. 2 minutes to go. Andy Neil in the Peugeot, trying to keep up with the E30 M3. Look at that slide from James Everard there. Well, there is Ross Craig. Now you can see the gap back to Everard and Neil. Ross Craig looking good here for an outright pre-03 victory. There's the 4th and 5th place cars going through. And Reed continues to make progress in a good 7th place. Ahead of some more powerful cars here. What's the lead gap this time? Oh, it's up to nearly 8.5 seconds now. Yes, David Griffin has pulled away from Ian Bauer. Dives past Forster and Griffin, and Nixon rather. So David Griffin has got this race in the bag. May get one more lap out of this, we'll wait and see. It could be checkered flag this time, it's going to be close. It looks like it's going to be Diet Cokes all round again in Parc Ferme afterwards. David Griffin, could he be heading for the pre-93 title this year, because he came into this weekend on 43 points. Ian Bauer leading the championship on 64, so it's going to be close at the top. I think Ian Bauer will still be leading the points though. Andy Sheraton was only a couple of points back as well. Now, is he leading his class? Yes, he is, but there's not as many entries in his class as there are in the class of Griffin and Bauer, I don't think. So he may not get as many points with these smaller grids. 20 seconds to go, so this is going to be touch and go whether he gets the checkered flag this time, David Griffin. I think he might. Nixon's still fighting it out with Forster, they're close. There's Ian Bauer, wings it through. 5 seconds on the clock. Is it going to be checkered flag this time for David Griffin? No, he's a little bit too early. The clock counts to 0 just as he takes the last lap board. Oh, Ian Bauer, now that's sideways in the background there at Barn Corner. He nearly spun there. Is he pushing too hard? Has he got a tyre going down, perhaps? Or has his sideways style caused his tyres to wear out, perhaps? Yeah, he's 10.5 seconds off the race lead now. There's the fight between Nixon and Forster. They were hoping to see the checkered flag that time. Well, David Nixon certainly was. Arthur Forster's now got another lap to try and get past him. This is for 8th place. And they're in the same class as well, so this is for points. James Everard's going to win the class in 4th overall. Pre-03s are going to be won by Ross Craig. Here comes David Griffin, meanwhile, down to Mansfield for the last time. He thought he was going to see the checkered flag that time through, and instead he saw a last lap board. He was just a few seconds too early there. But he's going to see the checkered flag this time. Here he comes up to the mountain. Climbs the mountain, over the top. Only Hall Bends, the hairpin and Barn Corner to negotiate now. It's going to be a perfect double for David Griffin. We've had double wins in our other classes so far. Roger Stanford in the pre-66s, James Ram in the Jaguars. And joining the double win club is going to be David Griffin. Going down towards Barn Corner, here he comes, the checkered flag is in sight. On his local circuit today, David Griffin takes a double victory. Diet Cokes all round, 2 out of 2 for David Griffin in the pre-93 touring cars. Oh, Arthur Forster's got ahead of David Nixon on the last lap there. That's for 8th place. They finish a lap down. Ian Bauer comes in 2nd place overall. Mr. Sideways in his BMW. 15 seconds back. And who is going to be 3rd? Looks like it's going to be Ross Craig in his Honda. He wins the pre-2003 touring cars, sponsored by Simply Service. 4th for James Everard, good run from the back of the grid. 5th goes to Andrew Neil in the Peugeot 106. Andy Sheraton and John Hillier a lap down. They both win their classes in 10th and 11th. Keep Andy Sheraton's championship challenge alive. He is a former champion. 6th is going to go to Phil Wright, I think, in his Honda Civic. Here he comes. And Adam Reed behind him will be the last man to cross the line. Everybody else a lap down. Here comes Phil Wright. He will take 6th position. Adam Reed in 7th. That brings everybody over the line. They're all in now in our pre-93 and pre-03 touring car race. All 11 cars go the distance. That's good to see. Let's have a look at the results. Provisionally then, David Griffin the winner by 15.25 seconds ahead of Ian Bauer, with Ross Craig winning the pre-03 split in 3rd. 4th place from the back for James Everard, winning his class in his BMW M3. Andy Neil and Phil Wright next home in their Peugeot and Honda. Adam Reed 7th, he wins the invitation class. Arthur Forster was next, taking David Nixon on the final lap there. And then Andy Sheraton and John Hillier round out the finishers, both winning their classes. All 11 cars go the distance. 2 races to go then here at Cadwell Park on this bank holiday Monday here on BARC TV. Next up will be the Shell Oils pre-83 touring cars. Let's make sure there's been no amends to the classification from race number 1 earlier on. No, that was as they finished. So Stephen Primet, your race winner, he should be on pole. Hopefully we will see the likes of Mark Lucock and Colin Claxton back out after they spun out of race 1. There will be a change of driver in car 47. H. Harvey was out in the car in race 1. It'll be Tom Harvey, his father, out in race number 2. Before we hand down to Parc Fermé, somebody has confirmed I was right. There was a Pepsi-sponsored car in NASCAR driven by the one and only Darrell Waltrip, apparently. Boogity, boogity, boogity is all I can say to that. Hopefully hand down to Parc Fermé very shortly. And then we'll bring on the Shell Oils pre-83 touring cars for our penultimate race of the day. Stephen Primet took his first win of the season earlier on with his Escort Mark 1. He'll go for his second. Will it be 4 double winners out of 4 pairs of races today? Pick hello to Alan Wayman, who's watching on. Thought he'd be out with his Camaro today. I must apologise, I got it the wrong way round with the 47 car. Tom is the younger of the pair. So Tom Harvey is the younger of the pair. My apologies there. He's out in the next race going from the back in car 47. So we can now hand down to Parc Fermé and hear once again from our race winner, that's David Griffin.
Yes, thank you, Dave. All right, 1 and 2 with us in Parc Fermé. Dave, first of all, I'll start with you. You've done the double, Diet Cokes all round. A fantastic bank holiday for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a physical track that you're always driving around going, is something going to break here? And you hear sounds, and I can see Ian coming in the mirrors, and so we're trying to do it as gently as we can, but there's no way to do it gently at Cadwell, is there? That's just what it is.
You described this track earlier to me as violent. Ian, would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, definitely.
It's a strange old one, isn't it? You were really pushing as hard as you could, and was that the same thing that you were trying to deal with as well, trying to sort of feel the car and make sure you didn't overdo it?
Yeah, it's true. When I started, I got a really good start and then hit neutral instead of third. It just didn't go into third because otherwise I would have been in first going into turn one. And then after that I just made a mistake coming out, I think, onto the straight, and then because I felt like I was catching a little bit. He was in touching distance. Then I made a mistake. Then he was gone, and then my tyres went off, and I was just trying too hard and all over the place.
Dave, as Bank Holiday Mondays go, it's not too bad. 2 wins out of 2. I know you love this track from round these parts. It's pretty good going, isn't it, really?
Oh, you never get tired of driving around a track in front, and it's just you just try to hold on to it with everything you can. And the West Suffolk Racing team do such a great job to have that car be able to come back out for its third race and still be able to run around really consistently at the front with shag tyres is extraordinary.
Absolutely agree. And Ian, before we let you go, second place in that one, how do you reflect on your Monday overall?
Yeah, I think my day's been pretty good actually. Car problems in quali and race 1, and it kind of got together race 2, but it just wasn't fast enough.
Hey, that happens against this man every now and then. Look, lads, congratulations on a great race. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Perfect.
Good
Cheers.
one. Thank you.
Great stuff there. Well done, David Griffin. Another double winner.